In today's video, I'm going to tell you how people in some Northern European countries stay fit and healthy without doing anything crazy, without even trying so hard. So what's the magic here? What is it that they're doing? Let's dive in. If you don't know me, then I was born and raised in Estonia, which is a tiny country in Northeast Europe. I also lived in Finland for 4 years, and I know both of these countries really well. I visit them about once a year, sometimes twice a year. I'm mainly talking about these two countries, but I know the tendencies are really similar in other Northern European countries as well. I personally don't know anybody there who is using weight loss injections, who is hardcore dieting. So what is it that they're doing? Before I go on, there are a couple of things that are important for you to understand. When I say that people are fit, I don't mean like fitness model fit. I mean that you don't see all that much overweight problem in these countries, as you might see in many other places. Also, I'm talking about tendencies. I'm not describing entire populations and saying that what I'm telling you today applies to everybody. Not everybody is super fit, but I'm talking about what you mostly see when you look around. Also, what I'm describing is mostly what I'm seeing in the cities, and I know that in the country things may not be as good, and I'm not preaching the truth, or I'm not arguing that the things that I'm going to tell you about are even possible in all of the countries in the world. What I'm doing is sharing my thoughts and my perception and what we can learn from it. There are 4 things that I think really contribute to people staying fit without doing anything extreme. The first one is that most people walk a lot and in general move a lot. For example, if there's a grocery store that's about 1 kilometer away, which is a little bit more than half a mile, a lot of people walk there. They don't drive there. And imagine you walk there, you walk around the store, you walk back. That's a lot of steps. That's a lot of activity already. Sometimes maybe on the weekend, people need to go to the grocery store twice. Well, then they walk, and that's how they get their exercise. People have cars. Of course they have cars, but they don't take them out for every little short trip. People also use more public transportation. For example, my friend in Helsinki told me that she gets about 40 minutes of walking just because she uses public transportation when she goes to work. So she would walk to the train station and then get on a train, and then from there she's going to switch to a bus, and then she comes back the same way. And that way she's going to get 40 minutes of exercise without doing anything special. Like I told you before, I know this is not an option everywhere. I absolutely get it. But this is just to show that if the public transportation is functioning and working, that definitely helps people to stay more active. People also ride their bikes a lot. For example, my cousin says that why would I drive to work if I can ride my bike? It will take me 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. Coming back the same way, 20-25 minutes, and I get my exercise done, and I'm just going to work and coming back. In Finland, it's very common that people also ride their bikes in winter time. Yes, you heard that right. Here's a video. You can see how people do it. Even if it's freezing, there's snow, people are doing it. And at the same time, we have a lot of people in other places who say, I can't go anywhere. I can't leave the house because there's snow, there's cold. In Finland, people get on their bikes and go everywhere. Most people also have some sort of active hobby. For example, my sister walks a lot. She's a big walker. Every day she walks, I think, about 10 kilometers. Her husband plays volleyball. Their kids play soccer, volleyball, and go to the gym. Like I said, my cousin rides his bike to work. 2 of my friends ride their bikes to work. They do a lot of hiking. People are active and move a lot. 2 of my friends also ride their bikes to work, and they use my Train to Build intermediate workout program at the gym. And by the way, if you don't have this program but you want to get started with something that's completely free, check out my Fit from Scratch workouts, and there you can choose between the beginner option, which is bodyweight only, and the intermediate option, which is with dumbbells. So go ahead and get that workout guide if you want something for free that you can get started with right away. Now, people who walk a lot, move a lot, play volleyball, tennis, go to the gym, they don't do this to burn calories. At least this is not what I'm seeing at all. They don't think, okay, how much did I burn? They don't check their watch to see how much they're allowed to eat. People move because they want to stay active, because it feels good, because it's fun, because it's social, and because they've sort of always done it. They also notice that it just makes me feel really good when I ride my bike to work. Like I said before, I understand these things are not doable everywhere. For example, you just cannot walk everywhere in the US, which was one of the big surprises when I first moved here. I remember when one time, this was one of my first trips here, I tried to get from the hotel to a grocery store and I literally couldn't go there because there's nowhere to walk. So I understand that all these things are not possible and doable, but I just want to show you how things work in other places in the world. The second thing that helps people stay fit and lean and healthy is that they cook most of their meals at home. People don't eat out a ton. Maybe they do it once a week, but a lot of people don't even go out once a week to eat. Now, I will say that what I'm seeing is that there is fast food available, fast food restaurants available. Even when you walk into a gas station, you see a lot of stuff that wasn't there when I lived there. So people definitely have more that kind of stuff available, but generally speaking, most of the meals are still cooked at home and eaten at home. And people also take what they cook to work so that they don't have to go out necessarily at lunchtime. Again, this is not everybody, but this is what I'm seeing a lot. And when you cook your meals at home, there's a good chance that you are actually eating healthier because you are in control of what you put in your food. Also, the meals are really simple. They're not complicated with 7,000 ingredients. They are very, very simple. So here are some of the examples that we ate at home at my mom's place and my friend's place when we just visited. It could be something like boiled potatoes. Yes, potatoes are almost always boiled with some fish or with some chicken. Or it could be some noodles with meat gravy. There's usually some pickled vegetables on the side, especially in the winter time. It's cold and you don't have like fresh tomatoes and fresh cucumbers from your own garden. You just don't have that. You can buy them at the store, but it's not as fresh as good as it is in the summertime. So in winter, people use a lot of vegetables, pickled vegetables. Or you could eat something like a fish soup with always some dark rye bread with some real butter. What about sweets and snacks and sugar? Do people eat that stuff? Yeah, they do eat. But it's so normal. It's not like compulsive, it's not obsessive, it's not like, oh, this is bad, I should not do this, or oh, I ate this was a terrible thing and I should starve myself now. It's just like normal. Hey, I want to have like a few pieces of chocolate after my meal. I have it and I put it away and move on to the next thing, and I just don't sit there and think about it or obsess about it. It's just really normal. People eat much less sweets and sugar and snacks, and it's part of life. It's normal. It doesn't get obsessive. The third thing that helps people stay fit and lean and strong is that portions are smaller. When you visit, especially from the US, you at first think that this cannot be enough. Like, they're giving me just like this little thing, I'm not used to it. It's true. Portions are much smaller. Even myself, last summer when I was there, I remember one meal I was really hungry, and what I got at first I was like, is that all? Oh my God, I'm gonna be hungry. But when I ate it, it was actually totally enough. And it made me think that, what if I often eat more than I actually need? So portions are a little bit smaller. Everything that when it comes to food is smaller. For example, fridges, food packages, ovens, plates, cups, all of these things are smaller. When you look at people's fridges, you usually see just very basic things there. It's not like crammed with all kinds of stuff. It's just a lot more minimalist, I would say. So portions are smaller and the meals have just less ingredients. They are not overly complicated. The fourth reason why people stay fit without even trying so much is that the food is not everywhere and all around them all the time. I feel like the thinking is more like food is nourishment and food is fuel. And so I'm gonna eat until I feel satiated and good, and then I'm just gonna put the food away and I don't think about it until I need to eat the next time. It's not that food is here and there and there's constant snacking, and it's not that every event has to include food. Food is something that's there so you can function and live, and you eat it and then you put it away. So in general, I feel like it's not a constant thought. I'm not saying that people don't occasionally overeat, overindulge. Of course they do. Some people more, some people less. And especially around Christmas time, yeah, people do gain a little bit of weight sometimes. Or there's a celebration, you might eat a little bit like past satiety. But it's not an everyday thing. It's not like it's all the time, everywhere, and like, you know, you're consuming more than what you use. It's just a lot more moderate. Now onto some not so great stuff. So I want to tell you also about a couple of things that I don't like, or maybe is not as healthy. So the first thing is that people tend to like their alcohol. And this seems to be less of a thing with younger people, but with older people, especially those who are like 60 plus, still very much like their booze. The second thing that is not so great is what I mentioned before too, there's a lot more fast food chains, a lot more high calorie foods, low nutritional value, that type of stuff available. It wasn't the case when I was growing up, when I lived there. Now it's becoming more and more abundant. Kids who are growing up now have all of this stuff available to them. I'm really glad that this wasn't the case when I was young. This is definitely something that is not a positive trend. The third thing is just something that I personally miss, which is the vegetables. I mentioned that before. Especially in winter time, you just can't get a lot of good vegetables there. Everything's pickled, which is fine. In summertime, you can get the fresh tomatoes, fresh cucumbers. In general, you get more vegetables in the summertime, and in wintertime, it's just not a thing because of the climate, and it's understandable. And the last thing that I sometimes don't like is that the coffee is really small. Now, I mentioned that everything when it comes to food tends to be smaller. Foods, portions, plates, everything. But it's also true for coffee. That's just something that if you visit, you have to get used to that. Your coffee cup is really small. You take a couple sips and it's almost gone. That's one of the things that I would just prefer to have bigger coffee cups and more coffee. So these are my observations. I wanted to show them to you to prove to you that health and fitness does not have to be obsessive. It does not have to be black or white. It doesn't have to feel like white knuckling. Health and fitness can just be part of life, part of what you do, part of how you function in your life. And when you do it that way, it is a lot more enjoyable and also a lot more sustainable. Now, that said, if you don't have the habit of movement, if you don't have the habit of making your own foods, then we have to start creating this habit. And this is what I'm hoping to help you with here in this channel. If you enjoyed today's video, then make sure to check out the next one as well.